bathrooms.
Oh
like,
god! No, yeah, the
That's nice.
translucent bathroom.
slightly translucent bathrooms.
Yeah, the bathroom like was made of this,
Man.
like frosted glass, but like you could very clearly see someone inside having
Nice.
the outline of someone having
It was made for like
shower
couples
inside.
or something.
It was
Yeah, I think it was
definitely-
probably it's a suite, but and there's plenty of room.
Nothing
It's
like-
the love
nothing-
suite, I see.
But
nothing
it's
like,
definitely
nothing like playing Magic the Gathering with like the outline of someone taking a shower 2 feet away.
oh man,
Oh,
Yeah.
good times.
it was.
Okay, so
Let's go.
the last of the wisps has been dealt with. And having observed their tactics in combat, and you know the way they use of exploded mana burn and spelled and stuff,
Bump stuff and explode.
Shallan, you can be fairly like as certain as you can be that they are at least what they were at least in some way like related, of like the same genus as wisps.
Yep.
Like they're a kind of wisp basically. And then the sun riseth in the morning.
Wait, I'll use hit dice to heal myself then, Chris. Oh no, I can't. It's only temporary one I lost, Arthur.
Also,
First world problems.
Rest, technically, yeah.
On the back.
Okay, it's been it was another 4 hours basically. No, 3 hours, sorry.
Right, so in the morning, I say, right, so concerning the Wisp situation, it seems that they have adapted to their environment. Maybe they have new
I think it's
connections.
probably. Do I?
It's something living in the forest. Either way, I
Yeah.
don't think I feel entirely comfortable.
I'm wondering if can I make a connection to there's some type of a corrupted version or of a wisp?
Maybe a weird magic
Or-
wisp.
Yeah.
Depends on your definition of corrupted. Not Scourge corrupted, not Fell corrupted, but
Vague corrupted?
possibly, like, yeah, different from a normal wisp, certainly.
Mhm.
It's either they're a type of wisp, or these and wisps are both a type of something else. Of like they're from the same meta class.
They're the
superclass.
subraces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So from the rumors we've heard, this forest, things living in it that we may not want to encounter, the wisps.
Yes, you see, they are wisps with an H. That's why it's the Whispering Forest.
The cool wisps.
Exactly.
What was I saying? Wait, there may be a warning sign of more dangerous things do not want to mess with. So I would say that we should leave.
Or do you mean stay on like the edge of the
Hey,
forest?
do you mean
not go
leave the
deep
forest and
in?
travel on the road?
We tried staying on the edge and they still attacked. Perhaps
I
we
mean,
should.
True.
It's not too much further to death now, and they didn't pose that big of a threat.
Alright, well, if both of you. Yeah, I mean, we can defend ourselves.
So, question by the way, since technically I now know this, but do I actually know it or did I just see the results? Which is their magical dispel magic shit, right? From the explosion. Because technically that would dispel the hut, right? Because it's a 3rd level spell as well.
Yes.
So would I know that technically the hut would not protect us the way I thought it would?
Well, if they know.
No, they have. You know, they can dispel, and you could probably judge from the amount of mana that was burning that the spell is like at least 3rd level power. I mean, it's exactly 3rd level power, but also even like if it's 4th level, the spell they have like a +4 on the modifier to dispel. So yeah, it's like slightly more powerful than a 3rd level dispel.
I only have 10 rations left.
Mm-hmm. I have
Got 16 left.
6 human rations, 1 hunted ration hunt, and 3 dwarven rations. Yeah, we're getting a little low.
Problem for another day.
Exactly.
Literally. We should probably start hunting though.
Yeah.
Not really seen anything that's huntable.
No.
We've seen a hunter.
Yeah, well, you might have to start eating Forsakens. Can you eat them?
I wouldn't.
Hmm.
They're a bit past their sell-by date.
Yeah, I'm a wolf.
But their maggots are filled with protein.
Ooh.
Traveling for the afternoon
Mhm.
also is uneventful until approaching death knell.
Okay.
Still approaching.
Let's draw this in. Okay, oh, that's far too thick.
Death Canal.
Death Canal.
The
Okay.
Death Kennel. Yeah.
So, Silas,
Yes, Fend.
you have been, to some extent, briefed on what Death Knell is, both for this mission and just general in your like knowledge of like enemy holdings and so on. As a like a member of a
Yeah, they're not our enemy anymore, Chris. Truth.
and yet you were briefed.
Yeah.
What does that imply?
Mm.
Death Knell is something between a village and a town, on the edge of Forsaken not the edge of Forsaken Territory, but on the edge of Tirisful Glades, near a large expanse of graveyards, which is where most fresh. I mean, in WoW, all fresh Forsaken, but I'm going to say for the sake of like lore outside of Blizzard's head, which is insane. That like there are Forsaken come from other places. They're not all from from Death Knell's graveyards. But a lot of is where a lot of fresh Forsaken come from. So the town, basically what it looks like. It's not fortified. It's not military. It's just a lot of new.
It's a graveyard in the town, or like.
I mean, it's sprawling beyond the town to the south and west. Yes, west.
Okay.
The
it starts
site
inside the town.
before you, yes, it starts at the edge of town, is not Death Knell as it's been described to you in the past. For a start, you find yourself unable to easily approach the town because the forest in a large radius around it, out I'd say about a mile, has been cleared. There's like like hundreds and thousands of tree stumps basically, cut to like within a couple of feet off the ground. The forest has been systematically cleared, and Death Knell, the town-stroke village, is now surrounded on all sides, so all you can really see of it, by a high palisade, and this is actually palisade, wall, encompassing like an area large enough to encamp, not to like deploy, but to encamp in tents, like a fair-sized army, if it were fully occupied.
But fair size, I don't know what our size armies are in WoW, like 10,000, 1,000?
So the... give me a... Okay, well, I'll tell you. Give me a investigation check as you... I'm just going to say that as you come to the edge of these, the sort of where the forest has been cleared out to, and see this, you get out your scope and scope it out. Yeah, because I feel like that's what you would do.
20.
Okay. So this is very fortunate for you. There are a number of banners hanging from the walls of this large fortified encampment. You know from your briefings and like military instruction that the human and Forsaken militaries have similar organizational structure. That the armies of Stormwind and the armies of the Forsaken basically are structured similarly, probably because the undead were originally humans, and the same way the armies of Lordaeron were structured. They're structured into legions. A legion is a complement of 5,000 men or 5,000 soldiers, broken down basically as Roman legions were in like 2,000 years ago in Europe. So broken down into cohorts, broken down into centuries, broken down into like companies or whatever the group, like companionships, whatever groups of 10 men were called. I can't remember the exact name. But a full strength legion is 5,000 men. The current full strength legions of Stormwind is 8 legions, which would be 40,000.
That's a full strength.
That is the armies of Stormwind at full strength comprises 8 legions. The 7th legion is an elite legion, but they are still a full strength, or they would be at full strength. They're still a normal sized legion, which would be 40,000 men. Although, given recent force depletion on the Broken Shore and so on, you know that the armies of Stormwind probably number closer to while they're still divided into 8 legions, none of those legions is currently at full strength, and so it probably numbers closer to about 5 legions worth of troops, so 25,000 men.
How many legions are in the actual whole alliance? They were going to do. Oh, they don't do a legions, right?
Yeah, not all of them divide into legions, but the 8 legions of Stormwind at full strength would probably comprise slightly over a third of the full alliance military.
Okay, sure.
The bulk of the rest being dwarves and night elves. Night elves were a smaller army because smaller population. Yeah. But debatably overall, better quality of troops.
Debatable.
You are aware of the organizational structure of the Forsaken Army. You are aware that full strength they currently have 6 legions. They currently have 6 legions. You are aware of the heraldry, that is the banner that would signal the presence of all 6 of those legions, or at least you would recognize them if you saw them, even if you couldn't draw them all from memory. And the banners of the 5 legions that are signaled to be stationed here presently are none of those. These are 5 entirely unrecorded legions here. So the banners that signal the presence of which legions are at this encampment, if they are to be believed and they're not just some kind of trickery or intimidation, would signal the presence of 5 legions, which at full strength would be 25,000 troops. That and they're not legions you've ever heard of. They would be entirely.
They all fit, and 25,000 people would fit inside this town.
Inside the walls of the palisade that are being set up. Yes, you can encamp soldiers pretty. You can encamp soldiers pretty densely, and the fortification encompasses a much larger area than the town. That's why the forest has been cleared out. It's beyond a mile and a bit in all directions.
Okay. And so how far away are we from the wall right now?
Yeah. Probably 2/3 of a mile to half a mile.
That's pretty close. Let's back up a little bit.
Okay. Well, if you go back too far, you're at the edge of the trees right now. So if you go back too far,
but there's no
the forest is going to start.
What do you call those people that cut trees? Lumberjacks.
No one's currently out cutting trees.
The palisade looks pretty finished, right?
Yeah, the palisade is pretty finished, and the encampment is the trees are cut out to a neat circle of about 2/3 to half a mile from the walls. So it seems it looks like a complete job. You don't see anyone currently out cutting trees. You see, obviously, men or Forsaken on guard at the gates.
Wait, so the entirety of the graveyard within that? Or the graveyard not in palisade?
It would be on the opposite side of the palisade from where you are now. So you could circle around and have a look, but you can't. You can't see the graveyard from here.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So you also would know that there's 25,000 people weren't even buried at death now. There's no way that if there are 25,000 Forsaken here, that they've all come from the graveyards at death now. They can't just dig up 25,000 more people like that. Doesn't happen. But that you know that So, well, I guess from that you can intuit that if there are that many here, then this has become a staging point rather than just like a place for recruiting people from out of coffins. That like they've set up like a large military encampment here.
There's no. How far away from Death Knell is like the Zeppelin?
Brill?
Zeppelin Tower. Is that really close to Brill?
No, it's a
no.
a foot and a half. It's like definitely like a few days travel. Like
Wait, from where to where?
from Death Knell to Brill.
Yeah, that's ages. Yeah. Okay.
It's like 15 feet.
Yeah.
So basically, to summarize all, you would estimate that like if there are here 5 full strength legions, then the undead the Forsaken that is, completely unknown to the Alliance intelligence. You stop being a member of them, you know what Alliance intelligence does, have constructed, equipped, and trained an army, or are in the process of doing that, like that is itself as large as the entire current strength of the human military. The armies of Stormwind.
That's bad.
It's not good.
Bad, I think, is the correct word. Not just not good.
Not good. Okay, so I'll kind of like put down the scope that I was looking for, like Tony and be like, well, that's a bit of a development.
Not the good one.
No, not a good one. It makes our job of counting how many are being raised a bit pointless, considering if they had that many, I assume they've already cleared out the surrounding graveyards. Teaching my sister how to fucking change the input on the TV. Oh my god. Okay. What were you saying, Jacko?
So like you've been telling us like what the deal is as you've been scoping it?
Yeah, maybe not like in quite a detail quiz.
Yeah.
Being like this, I think maybe 5 legions. I see the balance of 5 legions. That's impossible. There aren't that many of you for it. Yeah, kind of shit. I'm like, I think it's almost suicidal. I think to get close and any closer to try to see inside the palisade.
How high are the walls?
Yeah.
Sort of 15 feet or so.
But we're on the hill, right? So we can just see straight down into it.
Yeah, totally. You can just see all the tents laid out and everything, though.
What if I climb one of the trees? Then look through the scope.
Yeah, the wall. I mean, the wall is constructed from the trees around here, so surprise, the wall's about the same height as the trees. But like you could, if you found like a taller tree, you could probably get like a bit of a sort of shallow view over the wall.
Yeah.
What if we like to the west of us? Is there like higher elevation? Or?
Yeah,
circle around.
The other side?
Is there good elevation anywhere that would give you a view in?
With keeping in mind climbing trees.
Yeah, there's some higher ground, like north and west of you, a little bit into more into the forest, like that you can see just by peering through the canopy. You can see like higher trees over there. It's not a huge hill, but like if you went to the top of it and climbed a tree, you'd have a view into the. You'd have a fair view into.
Let's try to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good. Let's do it.
At least a good step to take.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys like retreat back into the tree line a bit, and make a beeline towards that hill. Give me perception checks.
Ooh.
Shit.
Figured out yet where a +4 comes from, Ian?
No. It might be a +3, but I got +4 my streets.
As you draw near the top of the hill, Silas, you discover evidence that some group in size between about 5 and 10 has been encamped here recently. Like you find like the remains of a fire and like a bit of flattened ground where a tent or two has been set up, and like some grass where horses have been eating. You find evidence that like a group has been encamped here in the last 2 or 3 days.
Does it look like? Does it look like it's a permanent stopping place, or like is the ground like kind of tread more flat, like we've been here for a while? Like
they were left 2 or 3 days ago, and before that they were here a while. Yeah,
a while. Okay,
like as long as a week maybe.
Ooh, long time. Okay, well, quickly I'll kind of like be like somebody was here, but let's quickly try to get a view. So I'll climb up a tree.
What kind of group would need to?
Right, weird. Lumberjacks? Nah.
Maybe more spy. Different fact.
More supply. I hope they would cover their tracks better.
Give me an insight check.
We haven't really covered our tracks better.
Wait, you torn the jacket?
Yeah, both of you. You're the other two wondering about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have any? Can I do a survival to see if I can see where their tracks go?
Yeah, you can do a survival alongside these guys.
I'll start doing freeze tracker. You're right. I don't know why it is.
Silas and Talia, just you can't figure it out. You can't puzzle it out.
Yeah.
Shalon, you find tracks heading away towards Deathknell.
Towards Deathknell.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was an encampment here that for some time, semi-permanent, that left recently and headed towards Deathknell.
Yeah, so I tell this to the other two.
Well, hopefully that means if at least
bring
more...
up something about Hobbit lay here.
Sure. Like hopefully that means if
taking the hobbits to Deathknell or something.
But yeah, I'll climb up a tree.
Okay.
The tallest tree there.
Isn't that kind of a cat thing, not a dog thing?
Dogs loved.
You get out your scope. By this point, I mean, the day's traveling was finished when you arrived at the edge of Deathknell, so it's dark and so on by this point. There's moonlight out, because of course there's always moonlight in this world, otherwise Josh would be upset. But your view is not great. Looking over the walls, you basically can see the original village-stroke town of Deathknell, kind of in the center, this nebulous center, surrounded by neatly arranged rows of tents, like just rows upon rows upon rows of tents. It's exactly what it looks like when an army is encamped. There's like some larger tents forming like a mess area, or like officers' tents or something.
What about the sign of the graveyard?
The palisade has been built in a big square shape. Or like a quadrilateral, it's a rectangle really, but and one corner of it just extends into the graveyard, just cutting it just a chunk of it off inside the palisade, and it looks as though the graves, any grave markers that were there, have just been cleared to make room for more tents.
Yeah,
but beyond it, when you look at past the firewall, you can still see the graveyard extending off into the.
Does it look like, but all the graves been dug up or anything?
Yeah, all the graves that you can see.
Okay. You kind of climb down.
So Chris, can you point out where we were on the map right now? Here or not?
You're no, not that far. I'll move you a little bit. You didn't walk that far. You're
Oh, we didn't travel very long. Okay.
No, it was just a few minutes.
I'll kind of hop down and be like, well, they definitely have an army in there.
So we saw a case from this side, right?
Silas, you could see there's gates on all 4 sides of the encampment.
Okay.
You would have been.
But there's only one road, right? That's one heading north.
Yeah.
So there's no road to the undercity. That's so weird. Okay. Well, yeah, if they kind of get down from the trip, be like, well, I mean, it's not good news, but it's news. We'll stay here for 2 days. I can't see how many are being trained or how many they're raising, but at least we can observe the troop movements, see if any more legions survive, see if these ones leave, what direction they are. See if there's anything interesting happening. But yeah, it'll be.
Where would they go?
From Deathknell, Dan? Jacko?
Mhm.
So is that what you're saying? Like, where would they go from? Death Knell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but there's one way to find out.
By never going there.
Wait and see.
Disguise yourselves, sneak into the camp.
Yeah, so I actually pictured like him going in there and he's like, "Hello, fellow Forsaken," like the meme of the hey former fellow kids.
Well, I've seen The Walking Dead. I can just put some Forsaken gods on me.
Instead of
And
like having his skateboard slung over his shoulder, it's like his own arm.
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah,
because-
I
I'll,
want to see that as a meme now. Damn it.
we just need to spend a couple of days here to observe the area. But I think it's we can't get really insight past it, obviously.
With my survival check, does it give me any insight into what they were possibly doing here, or just the direction that they went?
No, just the direction they went.
Okay.
I mean,
Hold on.
nothing that they were doing here beyond the fact they were camped.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Let's continuing that conversation of summoning animals. How long did it last for? And they relay information?
Hold that thought.
Is there like a range where you can tell them to like do something?
So I can summon within 60 feet, but it can extend with beyond that, to my knowledge, anyway. Yeah, it only lasts up to 1 hour.
So that might.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have the telepathic connection, so I could give it the command to be like, "Hey, go check this out," and then come back and report. But it wouldn't be great.
Would you be able to understand it?
I mean,
But it
if
came
I
back?
did that, I might as well cast. Is it archery? Is that the spell? Archery?
Just can't speak with animals, just ask a bird to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're like conjure a bird, just a natural bird.
What if it's got
yeah.
captured?
I mean, there are many birds. Also, I mean, unless you do something really small, they're not going to be suspicious if there's no like wildlife, right?
Yeah, but like a bat or something.
There is.
They're bats.
It's big
Well,
It
they
has
bats.
to be
Dead.
one. It's a forest.
Yeah, but
This
everything's
is-
dead, right? Or like fake stuff.
The Forsaken like ride around on bats. There's hella bats.
Hella bats. So.
Yeah.
Dusk bats, I think they're called.
Hmm. That's what the Hobson card's called.
And if you kill them, they deal some damage to you.
Or maybe a rat. Or well, but that would maybe take more than an hour to get.
Wait, just a second. What does this do? Oh, never mind.
Hmm.
I was like, can I cast Feign Death to feign forsakenness?
Oh my.
That's exactly how it works.
Come on, that would be amazing.
Well, we could feign that for them to be like, hey, a fresh corpse, maybe you can raise it back in death.
yeah,
That's
fresh.
very-
And then when they try, you just like stand up. And, like,
Yeah, I was like, this sounds
Forsaken.
great until you read the target is blinded and incapacitated and its speed drops to 0.
What if I kill myself and then just get raised and Forsaken, but keep my own mental
Dedication.
state? That can be done, right? Yeah.
Sure, it's been done
Do
before.
Forsaken remember their memories?
Yeah,
Yeah. So why do they all like?
but they
go so
probably
badly?
don't.
Oh,
They
I
like.
forgot I have spirit
There's also like
guardians.
some form of like minds.
They don't just
Would
yeah.
you-
There's some sort of mind effect, and they also don't just raise like anyone they come across. They're like always they're raising citizens of Lordaeron.
I'm a citizen of
Land
Lordaeron.
together and no, you're a citizen of Gilneas.
Same thing.
Which used to be under the kingdom of Lord.
Did it not? Did it?
No, it didn't.
No, I don't think it did. Right, like
But it was a friendly kingdom.
friendly neighborhood kingdom.
Okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna like spend a couple days here. And I'll look at two
I'll see you
movements.
later.
I mean, if you want to go hide out in the
So
forest,
are you
that's fine.
gonna camp out on this hill?
I'm gonna camp out a little bit away from this hill, and then during the day come here, go up in the tree for the whole day,
Ooh.
then go back down and camp to the camp.
Very fancy. Okay, Josh, hit me up with the survival check then.
Okay. Let me just fix some stuff here.
Make it a good one because you're gonna be spending a while here apparently.
I'm gonna find another one tomorrow.
Do I have advantage again because someone's helping me?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Fuck.
We'll find a different place tomorrow. It's all good.
Yeah,
That's still 2, right, or just 1?
still 2.
2.
Is it? Isn't it
I
like?
thought it was below 10 was 1.
was it
Yeah, below 10 was 1, 10 to
9?
20 was 2, 20
Okay.
over.
I thought it was like 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20
Nah.
plus.
And so if 10 you just find a shit hole.
Yeah, you just don't
Below
find
10,
anywhere.
If it's below 10, you just camp in death now.
I think
Like,
it was.
I'm sorry, I got nothing, guys. I know I see. Fuck that. We're going straight in the front
I think it
door.
was 10, 20 was 2, but I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But let's be generous. Let's make 10 to
Yay.
22.
Alright, we need hidden and we need man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, we need it.
Okay, you find hidden advantage.
Yay.
It's up a tree. The same tree I was keeping watch from.
No, that's the one bush. No, if there's an encounter, I'll decide what it is. But for now, we just know that it's hidden advantage.
Okay. And then the night pass?
Good night.
Wait, but maybe we should think about what me and Shallan should do in the meantime.
Up to you.
Maybe we can hunt.
Oh yeah, you can just hunt for a couple of days.
Like I can aid Shallan in hunting.
Hmm.
Like,
You
for example, Shallan can find the prey. I can
you
gauntlet
gotta
it
do
to
a sword. Instead of punishing
Night
it.
passes without event.
Yay.
Thanks.
That's what we like to hear.
And then in the morning, bright and early, Chris. I should probably just sleep up there. No, I mean I wouldn't see anything at night, so there's no point. Oh, unless maybe it's lit at night.
What? It's not an infrared. Oh,
Chris. Is it an infrared scope?
No, fuck.
you have like a lens.
Nah. Alright, but Chris, yeah, as soon as sunrise, I'll like quickly hightail it back to the camp. I'm gonna be like also like, oh, I'll ask you guys, what are you planning to do? Like, are you gonna hunt or what's it?
Remembering that, yeah. Food situation. Reaching critical mass.
Yeah, sooner or later we are gonna hunt. You might well do it now when we got some downtime and inside the forest.
But considering there is signs of people having been here, I'm not entirely comfortable with leaving you here alone. All your focus on. What do you think?
It looks like at least the group that were here before traveled here from there for now. So if I'm watching that area, I should see if anyone is traveling towards us.
Be careful.
Always. I start juggling my knives like walk away.
But do you put poison on them before you start juggling?
No, I'm applying it
Of
as I
course,
juggle.
obviously.
I'm applying it as I
That's
juggle.
the
Wow.
method of applying the poison.
I'm holding the poison like in my mouth, and then like I throw it and I catch it into my
Holding the
teeth.
poison in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm a Walgan. I have resistance, and then you catch whatever.
Dangerous.
I punch him in the jaw, just like at the bottom.
Well,
Shatters. Okay. So morning comes. What is everyone's plan for the day? Silas, you're going to climb the tree and look into the camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talia and Shallan, you're going to go hunting?
Yeah, but while we're hunting, I want to bring up something.
Whoa.
Okay. Let's deal with that first.
So I say, I have an idea. If what lives in this forest, right? I have this image of creatures that are probably not very friendly with the Forsaken. Would you? That's a reasonable assumption to make, yes? That's why the wisps are so aggressive. So why don't we try and make an alliance? And the enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. It's just a suggestion. I know Silas would probably be opposed, but we have some time, and we might be worth.
There's any way we get enough to deal with, and it's like
I don't-
point in
I-
everyone else's direction.
I don't mean to raise an army. I'm just. Maybe they could help us gather information. Maybe they already have information. Something like that. Maybe they can help us
Sure.
get
Start
closer.
walking aimlessly into the forest.
We are hopelessly lost in how we can successfully complete our mission. At least that is my healing, so a little help.
I mean, yeah, I could. We could clairvoyance
What is?
once per day,
What does that mean?
at least. So I have the
But
ability,
is this-
basically, a spot that I can see, right, in a fairly obvious place inside Death Knell from a good vantage point. And I can choose either to see through this invisible sensor to see what's going on, or hear what's going on.
That sounds incredible. Why have you not brought this up already?
Because we've never needed to use it until this moment. But the only problem is, I need to be within 1 mile.
Is it? And wait, the forest line was like 3 miles or something, right?
No, it was cleared at like a radius of 1 mile, but the camp is larger than that. So you're like, depending if you're like near to a corner or near to a face, you're like between half a mile and 2/3 of a mile from the encampment at the edge of the clearing, or at the edge of the cleared area.
Is it detectable?
If something can see invisibility, it would only see like a luminous, intangible, fist-sized orb. But otherwise, it's invisible unless they have the ability to
Invisible.
see. Yeah, right.
Probably
And again, I can
wouldn't.
switch back and forth every about 6 seconds.
Would you say it's an
Between,
action?
yeah, that's an action. Between seeing and hearing.
So
About every 6.
About, give or take it.
construction of the palisade and the guards. They were expecting some sort of attack, enemy activity. I wonder if they're equipped to deal with something like this.
Oh wait,
Oh wait.
I don't think I would have these. They're named and valued components, so I made. Wait, well, I could probably do the hearing because we do have a jeweled horn, correct?
Yeah, we picked up a horn. That's true. What, do we have to like consume it or?
It doesn't say it's consumed upon using.
Okay. Can do it once.
But yeah, I would need 100 gold piece glass eye to see.
Little do you know, Talia only has one eye.
Boom.
And the other one's what, 100 gold.
Exactly, to the dot. So it's gonna be difficult. Like, we could do it, the hearing part at least.
See, maybe if Silas can identify orders of some kind, or general stance or something. Hearing whatever goes on in there would be able. So, but that's a no on the trying to allies with the weird forest creatures. Alright, good talk.
I said yeah, so we'd figure out what the plan is. So the longer we stay, the more likely we'll be caught.
Alright, should we roll some survival checks meanwhile? See if we get some game.
Hunting done. Okay.
Kind of makes sense for you to both hunt individually, actually.
Josh, you nab yourself. Oh, that was with advantage. Okay, so together you nab yourself 3 days rations.
I'm pretty bad at hunting.
So we've basically paid for today. We haven't actually paid anything.
I have a +2 survival, so
But we're never gonna make anything, right? Because if you put, well, what's the max you can get a day? It's not like theoretically.
With a +5, I mean, up to 18 would be 3 days, up to 19 to 21
So maybe
4
5,
days.
maybe 5 or 6.
I mean,
22 to 24 would be 5 days.
If we get really, really desperate, I
That
can
would be 6 days.
create food and
When
water.
did you do that?
what did you do?
Again, it just happened because we just hit level 5 a little bit ago,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And it's a level 3 spell. It's going to take a lot of.
We'll go, sure. Yeah, but you could have done
But
it
the
at
problem
end
is,
anyway,
the food doesn't keep. The water keeps just fine, but the food only keeps for 24 hours if
When?
uneaten.
Can
Or
we
so
just
like,
wait
or
to
for
make it at
15
night?
minutes upon logging off. When did you become a mage?
It's like an arcane table.
What the fuck is
Yeah.
this?
But
What is
like
this
we could
future?
do it before night, right?
Yeah.
I create 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water on the
45
ground or in
45
containers.
pounds of food.
Yeah.
Dude,
The
that's
problem
like,
again,
why are we
the
not
food
be doing this?
spoils.
Stop hunting! Stop hunting!
No, so okay, the problem is the food spoils if uneaten after 24 hours.
So it's not for 2 days.
Once a day. I cast it once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat
But
eat
once
like
every
half of it. Alright, as a
On the
cast it.
subject of absurd weights of food,
I know.
my friend Hugo just fucking texted me this like thing you can get. It's a caterpillar cake. It costs £40. It serves 40 people. It weighs fucking 2.2 kilos. The 2.2
40 pounds for 40 people is pretty good.
5 pound caterpillar cake, like 5 pound in weight caterpillar cake.
It doesn't sound like that'd be enough to feed 40 people.
It says feeds 40.
Well, it's like for a party or something, not like
Next time my friends and I get together, we're gonna fucking like the 5 of us.
I could eat one of those myself.
We're gonna get through.
Yeah, 2.2. I could eat. Wait, 2.2. I could eat that.
You can eat a 2.2 kilo.
Ian,
Yeah.
have you ever seen this little movie called Matilda?
Jacko, do you not remember when we
Have
did the chicken nugget
Have you
eating
ever
thing,
seen the
Jacko?
hungry caterpillar?
Do you remember the chicken nuggets thing? I can eat a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So you guys have had your conversation.
I can 2.2 easy.
You guys have had that conversation.
Silence.
Didn't even pay
I
attention
think
to
you
it.
underestimate like how much caterpillar cake is.
Nah, you're
2.2
crazy,
kilos.
Chris. If like next time I come down and visit you, you buy me that fucking cake. I guarantee you I can eat it in one go.
As long as you
Volume in your
pay
stomach.
it,
I'll
I
bet
wanna
you
see
20
that.
quid on it, Chris, next time I get on that. How much is the cake? £40? Ooh. Whoever loses had to pay for the cake. Boom.
Damn.
I have so much faith I could eat that. How long do I get?
a week.
An hour.
One sitting. One
Oh,
sitting.
one sitting. You fucking just eat it after like 3 hours. Should be really slowly.
I don't know about that.
I'm like almost like.
Okay, so Silas.
Hmm?
Morning comes, the other two will go off hunting and to have a chat.
Oh, I really want cake.
You
Yeah.
climb your tree. There is
Hmm.
no cake in the tree.
Fucking bullshit.
You look into the camp.
Yep.
What you observe is I'd say a frenzy of activity, but that implies a level of disorganization, but a great bustle of activity.
Hmm.
Mostly, you can see that the tents are being taken down,
Oh, dear.
and the banners are being raised from the palisade walls.
All of them.
All of them, all 5 are drawn up.
Okay.
And then as
What,
you
Chris,
watch,
sorry, what was the
Huh?
date when I first got to it? I want to like write that down. Like what the date was. Like yesterday.
It was Winterfest.
What was the date?
oh, in game,
Yeah.
it
So like when I report back and be like, on this day the
is-
troops moved.
I'm not actually. I know how many days it's been since
I mean,
everything
you should make it
started.
up.
You could just say you write down the dates.
Chris might be like, nah, you did.
What is the walkout calendar even like?
Oh my fucking.
Chris, just, if I write down, I know the date. Will you believe me
Yes,
when I
that's
report
fine,
it?
that's fine.
Okay.
Write down that you know the date. But okay, I think. Yeah,
I don't think even Blizzard knows a Warcraft
We'll sort
calendar.
this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't. Also, the other thing when I was researching stuff for like these sessions, I discovered is that Blizzard also has no idea like how many troops anyone has. I had to like fucking make intelligent estimates based on like certain tips, like just tips and like, a few things that are said.
Like-
Blizzard never has committed to like accurate numbers, like even within like an order of magnitude for any of them.
It's so, but if they make numbers, then they
trailers
have to
and
do that
variants
in
as
the
well.
future.
Yeah, because the big problem is the Horde is supposed to be on equal level with the Alliance, but like they shouldn't be. They shouldn't, yeah,
There's
it's
no
not.
fucking reason they should be.
Wait, there should be way less? Or?
It should be way
They
less.
could be, yeah, like
Orcs got
they
fucking
should have, like, a
decimated.
reasonable military, but like the orcs, the trolls, the Taurans, they should have like almost no one. Well, not almost no one, but like a few thousand men. Like,
Yeah.
Crazy.
okay, so you have observed the decamping. The banners have been called up, and then over an hour, like the next after like an hour or so of watching, troops wearing, as you observe through your scope, the tabards and carrying the banners of, and like the meat wagons and stuff are marked with the banners of one, which meat wagons being in a Forsaken Siege machine.
Just throws bodies.
Basically, yeah. Form up and one legion exits the camp. They form up in front of it, and then begin marching. Like once they've all formed up, ranks and files.
Wait, one legion.
One legion. You can count like that. This is a full complement legion. It's the correct number of like rows and columns to be 5,000 men. I think it's like slightly over 5,000 because that doesn't include.
Can you tell me what does the sigil look like? Well, like when I write down, I know siege.
Yeah. You can. I
know everything.
So I know the existing sigils, but I don't know what these are.
Okay, yeah, I'll just say
yeah, you can note all the information about them.
Yeah.
Like they form up and begin marching. They form out of the east gate and begin marching like slightly south and east in the direction basically of the Undercity. And they reach the tree line and like disperse slightly, like they lose formation slightly, but they're basically marching in formation towards the Undercity, or in that direction. And like as soon as the first legion has begun marching, troops from another legion begin leaving the gate, forming up where the first legion was just standing, and then they begin moving as well. And this repeats. And
so all the legions.
A grand total of 5 legions form up and march in the direction of the Undercity.
So wait, how many seem to be left in the actual Death Knell now?
Like looking over the walls, like it's almost empty inside. I mean, the town is still there, need to be moving around, but like the vast area that was like encamped by tents is basically it's like all the tents are gone. Okay. Also, important detail. I should have noted. Well, I should have noted. I'm noting now. Like as the 3rd and 5th legions form up, in addition to like their meat wagons, they also have wagons at the back drawn behind the legion that contain like a big glass vat of like a greeny liquid.
Mountain Dew?
Yep.
It's either Mountain Dew or it's Plague, which Sylvanas has promised never to deploy again.
That's the same thing.
Plague or Mountain Dew?
Sylvanas has promised never to deploy the Plague again. She's gone to lots of trouble for deploying Plague in the past, but she's promised she's never.
What happens when you deploy the Plague? Everything you die, turn a Forsaken.
It's like it's like a really nasty chemical weapon, the Forsaken.
But does like it affect Forsaken?
No, I don't think it does.
That's bullshit.
But this is what fucked up the Alliance and Horde forces at the Wrathgate when the Undead decided to fucking ambush everyone and be dicks. But it wasn't actually Sylvanas then. It was Varamathras? No, it was one of Balmazahar. It was like someone who... Sylvanas was like, no, there was a military coup. I wasn't in charge of the Undead when they did that. Bitch.
But she was.
Okay, so that's... Yeah, you've seen 5 legions have formed up and begin marching in the general direction of the Undercity. The 3rd and 5th
that's our
legions
next place to go.
Are bringing like what looks like a large quantity of synthesized plague with them.
Okay.
Which is like something that only Forsaken alchemists know how to produce.
We've never managed to like take one prisoner and find out how. That's like
no. That's you gotta do.
Okay. I mean, I don't stop watching anything. I keep watching for the rest of the day.
Okay. Yeah, you keep and like the activity is completely. Once the full 5 legions have disembarked, it's as I described. It's very empty inside. Like there's still activity in the town, but like significantly reduced. This is not much going on.
Activity.
People
just like day life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, eventually when it gets dark,
the other 2 return.
Yeah, it's well. I mean, no, they get back to camp.
Leave them at the camp, sure.
But like when it gets dark, so I don't want to see like the lights. It doesn't get lit up or anything, right? Like, could I keep watching night theoretically?
And they're not.
I mean, like the town, there's some lights in the town, but like the vast majority of the area inside the palisade would be dark.
Okay. Yeah, eventually I'll give it maybe like half an hour if I'm feeling lucky, and then I'll head back to the camp.
Okay.
And it'll be like a successful day hunting.
Could be worse.
Okay, good. Take that as a no.
Oh, sorry, was I didn't get
Enough for
it.
us for the day.
Oh, perfect. So, the legions all seem to have marched out, I believe, in the direction of the other city. So I'll give it one more day of watch to see if.
Could that also be
returns.
towards Forsaken High Command? Or is that
Yeah,
basically this?
could be. It's like they're very close to each other.
Yeah.
What did the Forsaken High Command and Forsaken Great Guard?
Controlling the
Like
border.
Forsaken High Command is the center of the Forsaken military.
It's
And,
not Indians.
like I mean, like in the sense that, like Chelsea Barracks and the House of Parliament are technically
Don't know what these
separate.
names are. 'Cause Chelsea Barracks, never heard of it.
Kind of British. Snoring.
I'm not from London.
Yes, they are separate.
Okay. And the Big Guard is what?
It's just like a fortified outpost.
I have a question, Chris. Portals. How
Yes.
common are they?
Now you're thinking with portals.
Mm.
Like how common
Like,
is in
For example, in the Undercity, there's ports to battle around and stuff, right? Is that in the universe as well?
People can portal around.
Like, can a mage create a portal and an army can go through it?
I don't think a whole army.
For example, Khadgar does it. When he like,
Yeah, but that guy is fucking OP.
yeah, sure. But kind of a couple of mages, like
10,000 mages working together.
Like I'm just like, because in the Undercity, like if they would go to the Undercity, an army for 25,000, no.
You could just all walk
I think
out
you'd
where
need
they
to
were.
be an exceptionally powerful mage to create a portal through which you'd basically have to be an archmage to create a portal through which an army could pass.
But can't they just create a portal one day and then the next day make another portal? And do that?
So
I think portals are basically as functional as teleportation magic in regular 5e. So like you could shift similar numbers.
Okay. Makes troop transport a bit annoying.
So ideally, we would find out where this army plans to head,
But
because
that
it could
seems
be of
basically
vital
impossible.
importance to the other.
How do you expect us to, or how do you go about doing that though? We'd have to.
I've literally no clue, but the difference between an army sieging Stormwind or getting the Burning Legion. Let's hope.
Yeah, it's just for the war effort against the Legion, guys.
I'm aware it would be incredibly nice to know, but short of dying fit, I don't think there is a feasible way for us to find out the answer. The mission was not even to go within the Undercity, but to simply
Have you ever
observe it from the outside.
interrogated Forsaken?
No? Do you think we should?
Might be worth a try.
I kinda...
I'm sure the location of where they're going is common enough knowledge, right?
Among those in the army, I guess so. We'd have to...
You see, they have to like.
Are you suggesting we sneak in a death knell and like perhaps ambush a guard?
Yes. At least something of the sort.
When I was looking in there, how many people did it look like were in Death Knell? Because after they all left, I
The
didn't
town population 500 to 1,000.
and it was still populated by civilians, even during like the crazy. We could take out 500 people. No,
Just keep summoning them cats.
exactly.
Oh, actually, no. We know the play. What we can do is I can cast Power Word Shield on Talia, who's dodging every round.
Create a
Right?
chokehold.
Front. at the front of the gate, and then I just moonbeam behind that, and
That's
just
beautiful.
slowly
They can
eat
always
everyone as they come through.
Well, you wanted to do a moonbeam big enough to cover the entirety of Death Note? That
No,
size radius?
it's specific size.
Okay.
Luckily, there's only one gate,
better,
right?
I could be behind you for 10 minutes with spirit guardians and just chipper them, like just wood chipper anyone who comes within
Yeah,
15
they don't
feet
do
of us.
that, right? Forcing gonna fucking be tough. This will work fine.
Why not just walk into Undercity like that?
Just
Go straight at Sylvanas.
what up?
So I would suggest
Hey!
for the following day, I would keep watch Talia, and if I see perhaps there will be a group that comes out to camp near here again,
We just
if that is the case.
saw an army leave somewhere.
Yeah.
We might not have the
What-
time.
What is your suggestion?
Don't know. I just
Okay.
want to
Okay.
do something. I think we need to do something.
Mhm.
I agree, but saying we need to do something isn't very helpful when you have
We-
no suggestions of what to do.
It's follow. I mean, one of us. I don't know if we should split up, but one of us could follow the army on a distance, see if they actually head into the Undercity, or if they
We're gonna go all
are traveling down. They could be traveling downwards to Gilneas. Even the direction would be extremely helpful.
I mean, I saw the general direction they were going in. Definitely.
For now.
Sure, but why would they be?
They
You think
just like-
25,000 strong army is doing its slight
I'm
detour?
just saying, like the way you juked them at Chillwind Camp, they could be doing just that.
No,
Travel a little
They
bit one
learned-
way, and then
We've taught them a new tactic.
twice,
Fuck!
twice this campaign, you travelled one way a little bit and then changed direction when you thought you were out of sight of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done that if I was like a fucking huge army. I would have been like, shit.
I mean, they could just be following the road for now, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it
It wasn't
works for
even
small
a-
groups because it's harder to follow, right? It's really easy to follow 25,000 men.
Which means we could do it
Marching.
from a big distance.
Well,
Talia,
even like
I
a day or
intend-
two later.
Talia, I intend to follow the mission given to it. Our job is like to observe troop movements, not to follow them and see where they go.
Hang on, I want to very carefully think about exactly what you just said, Ian.
No, they're completely different. Observe troop movements in the area. It said
I'll
troop
see where
movements
they
in the
go.
area. It said observe troop movements in the area of Death Note. That was a mission briefing, word for word.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know,
We should.
I'm not arguing this either way. I just love the way you phrased that just now.
Yeah.
That was a good sentence, yeah.
Observe them,
Observe
not-
troop movements, not see where they go.
Not follow them. Not follow them. Not follow them.
But
Not
again, I
follow
think
them.
it's the letter of the law, spirit of the law. Like the idea is
Yeah, I understand that they want me to
knowing
figure
more
out what-
information about their distance is a better observation than
Of
just
course, it's
observing.
better.
There was an army of
Of course it's better,
25,000.
but I don't see a way that we safely figure out where they're going without.
If-
almost.
If we had the option to communicate, like, or get a message out that the army exists, would be. I would be alright. We would,
That would be lovely.
but we are the only ones here. We are the only ones of the knowledge, as far as I know, that this army exists and is on the move to somewhere. And we are weeks out of friendly lands by the time.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I don't know what you're suggesting we do. Even if we follow the army and find out where they are going, we still will have no way to convey the information. If it's weeks to go there, there's no point saying where the army is going, for by the time we get back that knowledge, it probably will already have happened. Even if they're going in one direction now, weeks in the future they might not be going. We know the numbers. We know there were 5 legions. We know the rough direction they headed in. I don't believe they would head in that direction if they were indeed planning to head south to Gilneas. I don't think when they
I don't believe so either, but possibility exists.
sure the possibility exists, but
So we stay and we observe.
we observe to see if there were any more legions coming from anywhere else. We still don't know where the where the Forsaken himself have been raised from. Perhaps we see another legion coming from another direction. Perhaps that is the other graveyard. If they are being stationed here until they are being sent out, well, wherever the new recruits are coming from, we still don't know. Perhaps they come from the east, the west. But if we see a new legion heading into this area, we may know that
I think
direction.
it might be worth searching all around Death Knell to see if there looks like there are large troop, signs of movement
Yeah,
from
large tracks, right?
multiple directions.
Sure,
Hmm.
we can do that.
If there's not, that tells us there's a portal of some kind in Death Knell.
Hmm.
Unless 25,000 troops took the road,
Possible.
from the north.
And we saw a few hundred travel on the road, right?
That was more of a patrol.
Yeah. Was it a patrol? I can't remember. I thought it was actual just...
Okay. Yeah, Michelin could do that while you're on the tree.
I still wish to complete the mission. I know the numbers are large, but it's not like this was completely unexpected. Obviously, I'm not saying this is an okay situation, but we were prepared for there to be more Forsaken being raised. It's clearly much, much, much more than we accounted for. But I don't believe it changes how we should approach it. I don't see like a better option.
Yeah,
If
so
we could
you
somehow get a message back.
I believe I agree, but you're saying that you believe we have the time to complete our mission in the coming 2 weeks, or something to that timeline, and still be in front of the armies that are gathering here and get the information out to our superior.
I think
My first instinct is to
just leave now.
run now, and make sure that the Alliance knows about it. As far as I know, this is a doubling of the size of the army of the Forsaken.
Yes, about that.
That is huge, significant news.
I kind of found and think like you're right. Information should be given to the Alliance as soon as
it's
possible.
definitely, I guess, insight from your intelligence training. Like, this is definitely news of like such significant import where you, if not like for certain one way or the other, like you would definitely consider changing your own mission parameters and going and reporting this information like over completing the rest of the mission. Like it's not certain one way or another, because you weren't really briefed on exactly what intelligence you were expected to gather at might gather at the Undercity or Brill. So like maybe there's important stuff there that really needs to be found out. Call it possible.
Maybe they already know about this and just haven't told us.
Yeah, it's like it's debate. It's like you definitely would debate it at this point. Like this is news that if is not known to the Alliance, and you have no indication it is known, is like it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
This is a colossal army. This is equivalent to the current armies of Stormwind, and they're mostly deployed on the Broken Isles anyway.
What's the kind of situation in Gilneas like, Chris? The wall's like fallen, right? Gilneas.
Yeah, it exists.
It exists.
It exists. It is. I mean, like, it's not all underwater, just most of it. It's in the control of the Gilneans. The city was.
The Gilneans on whose side, though? The Alliance.
The Alliance,
right?
yeah. City was retaken from Sylvanas at like the start. Sylvanas' forces at the start of Cataclysm.
Yeah.
But like it's still certainly under threat, especially as close to like the what I guess you call the former kingdom of Lordaeron as it is, or the lands of the Forsaken as it is.
Well, Talia, there is always a possibility that perhaps you and Shallan try to get the information back while I try to continue the mission.
I think it'd be unwise to split us apart.
We're not
Like,
trained
I guess
spies.
just going on next.
Yeah, so I'll kind of be like, well, Talia, I admit your point. I think with not only the information we just got, but the information we got from Ragnar, I think it is definitely a suitable choice for us to try to make it back to safe lands. If you believe that would be the best option. I myself am not sure. I think if it was just me and I had to decide, I would perhaps try to travel back, but go the path originally decided and see if I could at least spend a day at Drill, or even a day at the Undercity. If we go from that direction to Half Glen, and then manage to get do they call Griffins? Or whatever.
Yeah.
A Griffin from Half Glen to Stormwind. I think that's almost the fastest way back. Perhaps Gilneas is slightly faster, but I'm not sure. But I think if we complete the mission, it maybe adds. It maybe will add like a week onto our travel time, and a week which I admit could be crucial. But you're right. I'm not sure if we will get more information that is as big as what we currently have found.
And you are in favor of not splitting up, right?
Sorry, you were both talking.
You are in favor of not splitting up.
Correct. I don't think it would be wise.
I'm also
In
favor
some
of this.
ways, splitting up doesn't mean
It
that
makes it so much easier on the DM, right?
it doesn't. But like in games, splitting up does. It doesn't mean if at least we were discovered, at least perhaps some of the information we get back. If we travel the free and we go through the land, if we're found.
But
all the information
again, the
dies
problem
with us.
is survival on one's own is more difficult.
In some ways, it's easier than others.
It's easier to hide.
Right. It individually true, but when you pool our efforts, I think we're better at surviving together than apart.
Yes, but are we 3 times better? If not, then it makes more sense to split up and
Yes.
hope one of us survives.
Because again, so the problem is when you're on your own, who's watching when you go to sleep? What about the minimum you'd want to get to actually be able to watch during the night?
Well, to be fair, I've gotten attacked during my sleep twice, even though we
I
had a
know.
watch.
No, it's true, and that's what I'm saying. If you
So
decrease the number of watches for that by 2,
It becomes a certainty, yes.
He is attacked anyway.
I don't...
and then if the bear had attacked when I wasn't on watch, or had we all not been there when we were, came upon the undead, or any of those things, all of those moments
Yes,
could have been.
it's risky, but we decided on this mission with the possibility of us dying. I feel like that's not...
It's not the idea of death, it's
Factor
more
into
that the idea of survival for the information is more secure if we're together.
The information might not be worth anything if we're too late to act upon. I don't... Yeah, I must admit, I might not be in the best state of mind to make decisions, right? Do not know what to do. And Silas, I'm not sure if this is fair to you, but you are mission leader. If you say that it is best for one of us to go deliver the information, I will, and I think that is the right decision to make, personally. If you say we should.
If I had to choose, I believe the information you're right. Thinking about more should be given over as soon as possible, and I would choose for you and Shallan to both perhaps travel to Gilneas, for that is the safer road, and try to get information as quickly as possible while I try to head towards Half Glen. Well, if I believe it's safe enough, getting the information at will. However, I don't feel comfortable telling Shallan what to do if she feels so strongly about it. But I believe in some ways, I think the main danger is not from surviving in the wild with the bears or the creatures. I think it is the horde, and I think especially if we go in 2 different directions entirely, chances of both being captured are significantly lower. it seems a bit risky to put, I guess you say, all the eggs in one basket if you're trying to. I think, again, I know it sounds harsh, but if I die to a bear, so be it. That's better than me being caught by the horde and then figuring out what the alliance has been up to.
No, again, I agree with you if it was eggs that we were delivering. The thing is, it's information.
Jeez.
And the eggs bring. And I know, but I'm saying, but the eggs bring nothing to the table. The idea that each of us have skills that can help us survive.
The information, but it's not. No, it's about getting the information out. It's like, I mean, I've traveled in these lands. I mean, I'm not scared to travel in these lands. I mean, I'm scared, but I would be willing to do it if I thought it would.
Right, but if
if
it's 3 people individually all trying to survive on their own,
yes,
the chances of survival is significantly lower.
I don't think they are 3 times lower. That is, I understand what you're saying. I agree they're lower, but I think the odds of having 3 people who can safely get out. I think you're saying over too much of us dying to the wild. Where I think the most likely way for us to
I'm
get
saying
die.
Again, you being like accidentally stumbling upon a forsaken group because you have 1 set of eyes instead of 3. You have 1 person keeping watch at night instead of 3. In every way, it's more dangerous, and I think it is 3 times more dangerous.
Okay,
be that as it may, do you not think this information is worth that risk?
I'm saying if we think the information is worth it to split, it's just as important for all of us to make it or attempt to together because the survival of that information increases.
So, what would you want us to do? Would you want so, if we say splitting up is an impossibility, would you want us to all leave the current mission, or do you want us to stay and try and?
I think the most important thing right now when it comes to the information we currently have would be to, within a day or 2 behind those legions that left, is follow them, find out to an extent where they're going. Once we have that information, we head south to Gilneas to get the information onto Stormwind.
I agree.
I think because that's the most pressing issue right now. And while yes, that does go against, to an extent, the mission of continually observing them, this is why we're observing, is to get the information that would be critical to them.
And if we find out the direction they're going in, and we have come to that point, if I decide that I think I should try to complete the mission, you would not accept you and Talia going to Gilneas?
If need be, yes. But again, I think that information is more likely to survive and make it where it needs to go if we stay together.
Let's think about it. We were supposed to buy on Brill and the sewer entrance of the Undercity. Could we possibly? What could we see that would be of higher importance?
I mean, if there is a way to get into the Undercity that more advanced spies or even Forsaken allies, if we have any, I don't know, the agents, if there's a way into the Undercity that we could find, getting a SI7 operative inside the city would prove invaluable. As for Bill, I mean, we may have Zeppelin details. They may have several new war Zeppelins, perhaps even other legions that are setting off from that point. Maybe if I go there, I'll see perhaps where the other basing grounds are, if there are large troop movements in that area, perhaps in that direction. I would say, like, we still don't know where all these Forsaken have come from. I think as well as a large Zeppelin hub, and as the Undercity itself, I think in that direction is most likely be where it is. So it's a much more area to the west that it could be from. I can agree that we can try to follow the tracks, see exactly where they've headed, but I think if it looks like the armies for now are like stationed in the Undercity or heading north from there, I would ask for you and Shallan to head to the south while I continued upwards towards Bill. But obviously we could reevaluate that when we get to that point, if we do. But I feel like are too harsh on your own chances of survival, Shallan. I feel that while it's risky, I do completely think our higher chance of death is if we are completely outnumbered or caught by a large patrol. In that opportunity, I don't think the three of us are going to make a big difference compared to the two of us. I think our best way to survive it through stealth, and I think 2 people are easier hide than 3.
Again, in a short range, yes, I agree fully. It's harder. The larger the group gets, the harder it is to remain stealth. But in terms of additional eyes and additional abilities and skills to both get food, to catch, not be caught unawares, it just increases with that slightly larger group.
I think Alice's the vision of him staying and performing reconnaissance, which he excels at, and us surviving in the lands while traveling, is the best
I think
vision we've got.
that's a solution. I just rather would make that decision once we know where this army's going.
Okay, we can do that. But for now, I'm just saying that is my preferred action. But for either way, we continue by traveling to the east to see if we can follow the army.
Out of game question for you, Chris. Fenris Island and Fenris Keep.
Gilnean, I believe.
Like an order since then was given to retreat, like all Alliance forces retreat from Silverpine Forest. So Fenris Keep is either like controlled by the Horde or abandoned. There's no neutral or Alliance forces there. Yeah.
Shite.
I really gotta like go. By the way, so yeah, it was meant to like.
Okay. Yeah.
Like half an
Oh, but for now, decision.
I think all of the decision is the same
no.
right now, which is follow the guys, right? That's
our decision for now, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. But at that point,
But it's interesting because it might be worth it for the party to split up, but I'm not sure how you feel about that.
I'd rather you didn't, but I can handle it. Like if you guys are thinking to say yes as well,
but like I think it just
I'm totally fine
I
with it.
feel like I would do that. Like
Just someone's gonna be a little.
I would've-
like it makes a lot of sense for the information to go to safety, but then I also would not want to abandon mission. So it's like
I would have argued it for a little harder if I.
yeah. All right, we can argue for hardness. Right.
Or would it be something where we would be split for so long you just
Create 2 campaigns.
temporarily retire that character, you do some rolls off
I don't think
screen?
it would take me that long. Like I think it would take like a week.
Oh, but what about when you get captured?
No, then we can kill him off. I'll take the cyanide.
Entire captured orc
I'm
could
planning on
be
taking the
sick.
cyanide pill.
Again, I'm calling like night
That's
1 doesn't see anything and gets mauled and eaten by a bear. Like that's what I'm calling.
You got fucking like no. I think you overestimate the.
I know. I'm joking.
I think we're pretty strong individually.
Yeah, like I think I could take a bear.
Who
If it, like,
wants-
fucking look me up like that?
Who wants
Experience.
experience?
Me,
Goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take Ian's as well.
Hey, I'm still